Hi Megan, feel free to share, guys. So we're going to talk about. I got a lot of emails. We'll get to that very soon. But we're going to talk about how to look for a puppy, the questions to ask, the breeders, so people don't get ripped off anymore. So people stop getting ripped off. People stop getting the raw end of the deal. Tyler, how are you, champion? Travis, how are you? So this is being recorded as well, guys. So only the footage itself is recorded. None of the comments or anything can't be recorded. But I will be posting this up, so we will have it there. So if you people wanted to post this later onto your actual pages, you can feel free to do so. So the topic of today is going to be, what questions do I ask when I purchase a puppy? How do I approach a breeder? What to do, what to look out for? Because there is a lot of people, and I get a lot of inboxes, and I'm not just saying that. I actually get a lot of inboxes. Chanel, Jenna, I get a lot of inboxes of people asking me of what they should do in this situation. I'm in that situation, and it's just really sad to see that there is a lot of people out there paying a lot of good money and getting really ripped off simply because the breeders are just sort of don't know whether they actually know. They possibly don't know the laws behind the consumer laws. So I don't know if they actually do know that, or they just ignore it, or they don't care. So the only thing that I can do here is sort of educate the public, where they start to understand their rights as somebody who is buying a product. You do have lots of rights, and that's what we are going to talk about. And these are the few things. So all I can do is just help you guys understand things a little bit better. So I've just been rude. I'm just trying to get on the actual live because it doesn't come up on the. Here we go. So because I can't. There we go. So now I can actually see the comments. So yeah. So as I said, so the only thing I can really do, guys, is educate you on what to do, what to ask a breeder questions, how to get things done properly, so you don't end up getting burnt. So we'll start. As I said, this is being recorded, just the footage, not the comments, and it will be available later if you feel like you want to put it up on your post to try and help educate people, but this is what we're going to do. So obviously, the number one thing, the most important thing is when you're talking to a breeder, if you can have it all down in writing via messages, text messages, email, it is good because you do want to have a trail left behind that you can always go back to and you can read back, and there will be no misunderstanding and say, no, this is what you said, or you misunderstood this. So you have it in writing, and it's for your own safety and the breeder's own safety. So that way, both parties have it down, and there is absolutely no mistakes made, because you cannot make the mistakes. So the number one thing that you want to do is ask about the parents. So the very first thing is, can I see both parents? It's very important that you do see both parents. Some breeders, so we are taking both sides in this. So some breeders, obviously for obvious reasons and probably things that have happened in the past, don't want people at their house, and that's fine, that is okay. Some breeders are like that, and that's their choice, but you can meet them somewhere. You can ask for videos. Be very careful, not photos, you want videos. You want to see the dogs walking on concrete or hard surface. You want to watch their movement. You want to watch for everything. You want to watch everything that's under the sun. So you can ask that. You can ask to meet the parents outside somewhere. Obviously, the bitch might not be allowed to go away because she's still sort of nursing the pups. So that might be a little bit different, a little bit hard. But you can ask for videos, live footage. These days, nothing is impossible. Red flags are, no, I can't show you the pups. No, the mother at the moment can't be shown at this right time. Well, then those are red flags, immediate red flags. So the parent, the mum, you will expect the mother to be a little bit sort of on the skinnier side sometimes, because the pups do take a lot out of her, so that is to take in consideration. She will be obviously in somewhat not her full self, so again, that is to be taken into consideration. So the mother is going through, obviously has gone through birth, she's lactating, she's breastfeeding, so a lot is, like, there's a lot going on her part, so she might not look 100%, but that does not mean that that is who she actually is. So those are things to take into consideration as well. So we talked about seeing them walking on hard surfaces. You want to walk to see if they're free moving. You want to walk. You want to see them. You want to see if their feet are turned in or turned out. And you just want to be able to see. A lot of breeders as well will have imported sperm over, and most of those dogs there, you will be able to do your research. You will be able to go on the internet and find lots of information about these breeders, because some of the breeders down under will bring in big names, and these dogs, their pedigrees are up online. So that is part of doing your research. It's not just about who the dog is. It's just about doing your research as well. Sometimes the chemistry of the two dogs doesn't go well, and it's not just about so it's just sometimes the chemistry might not work well. So those are other things to take into consideration. Doing your homework is very important. Another great question, another very important question to ask when you want to buy a dog. Can I see the previous productions? Now, you want to be able to see the previous productions in these dogs, because that's going to give you an idea. Most people do repeat breedings. Some people they won't do repeat breeding, or maybe they did it a year ago and then they'll do another one a year after that. But you want to ask for previous productions. Can I see the previous litter? Can I see its past production? So you know what that dog is capable of producing. You know what that dog is capable of doing, because you have what you call champion dogs, and then you have producers. So a champion dog doesn't necessarily guarantee you that he's going to produce beast, he's going to produce everything. That's not a guarantee. So just by looking at the production, you can start to have an idea of what those dogs might look like. And again, Mother Nature's in control, and she does what she wants when she wants. But you at least have an idea, and you've asked those questions. So I've just written it all down here so I don't forget. Very important. How old are the parents? Now, this is a very thing for me. This is a very big thing for me. How old are the parents? You want to know how old the mum and dad are at the time of breeding. Now, it does not matter what people will say or what they say that any governing body or any registry has said in any way, shape or form. And this is that there's about 6 to 7 people in our own country that have bred dogs, male dogs, at a very young age. Now, the one thing that you cannot do with a dog that is under a certain age is score elbows, hips, and many other things, because they are still forming. And now, this was going to be another part of the question: are your dogs health scored? You want to know, if you're buying dogs to breed, you want to know exactly what it is that you're passing down. You want to know exactly what's happened. So you can ask for health scores. You can ask for them to see it. If they don't want to show you, if they don't have it, that's another red flag. It's a no-no. Don't do it. You're not in a hurry. You are not, if you're buying pups, if you're going to start your breeding program, you want to start the best possible way. There is a million breeders out there that will take their time and effort and everything under the sun to give you all the information that you request. The moment you don't like it, or the information is not available, it's not on. This breeding was planned. The bitch was pregnant for 2 months. They had all the time in the world to get everything ready for their potential buyers. So an excuse is no good. So those are red flags. These are stuff that you are looking for that might compromise. So what is the correct age for a breeding male, Megan? We are talking about a breeding male that is able to be health scored. A breeding male that you're going to be able to sort of do hips, elbows, and everything, because I believe people that are selling dogs to people that want to start their breeding programs need to have their health checks, and it should be available to those people there. So the correct age is the age that, look, there's a lot of vets out there that will tell you, not necessarily in Australia, of course, because we do have a very different sort of culture when it comes to these sort of things. But if the bitch comes on heat, that's just nature's way to tell you that she's ready to have puppies. That, by our standards, it's not it. But a lot of people do believe that. There is a lot of vets that do give out that information. So you want to think of ethically what is the right thing to do here. Because if you're breeding dogs that are younger, you are not breeding for longevity. We are taking away the dog's life. You don't know how that dog is going to turn out. You don't know whether that dog, when it's fully formed and fully grown and has stopped growing, if it's going to have elbow issues, if it's going to have hip problems. You don't know, because the pup could not be tested on these things. So those are very important things. So it's just more about being wise rather than the actual what is the correct age. The correct age would be the age where you can actually do all those tests on these dogs and you know that these dogs are health scored. So that, to me, personally, would be the correct age. Now, to other breeders, that might be differently. So all I can do, as I said, is try and educate you guys on what you can do. Hopefully breeders will be watching this or listening to this. They're probably spitting at the cameras right now, hating my guts. But hey, it has to stop at some point. We're really starting to look here. We all do it for the breed. Everybody says they want to do it for the breed. We want to do it. Well, if you want to do it for the breed, health test your dogs. Now, there is tests that cannot be done. So you cannot test a dog. There is no generic test that can be done to tell whether a dog is going to pass down blindness or deafness. I have spoken to many scientists. I've done my research on this, and every single one of these people have come back and they said there is absolutely no way that you can test whether a dog is going to pass down the deaf gene. You can't. There's no test for it. And anybody that says that to you, they are bullshitting 150%, and it cannot be done. So the only thing that you can do in that situation then, you don't know whether it's going to happen or when it's not going to happen. So then you're going to have to sort of figure out to take the gamble. But any dog that has history of deafness, any dog that has history of any other sort of different illness apart from the ones that you can sort of test, it's going to be a gamble. There is no genetic test for that. You cannot do the test. So that's it. So Megan, if you're talking to me, what I would say about a male at the breeding age, I would say about 16 months. So to me, that's what I would do. Now, there is a lot of people that will breed a little bit earlier than that, and that is fine. As long as you can health score the dog, that is totally not only that. But anything under 12 months, I would stay extremely clear away from them because that is just money. There's nothing else to it. Okay, so what was the other question? Here, a very important question, guys. How many times has the bitch been bred? Now, most people will put things up on Facebook. Most people will put things up on their Facebook pages. They'll be putting them up on groups. So if you do your research, you go through pages, you go through stuff, you will be able to find out. This is how we found out that there was a breeder that obviously didn't start off with the dog, but ends up with this dog, and the dog has just given birth to a litter of puppies, and we put the whole thing together, and that's her 4th litter in 2 years, which is not okay, which is definitely not okay. We know the breeder would have known because each breeder knows their bitch, and they should know their bitch, because if they don't know their bitch, then they're in the wrong game and they're doing the wrong thing. But the dog was first mated at 10 months. By the age of 12, she was already given birth to puppies. That dog was not health scored. You can't do it. So what's happening, we don't know, and there is a lot of other issues, but we won't touch up on that just yet. But eventually, hopefully, educate people so you people know what to stay clear of. Have a look at these people's Facebook pages. Have a look at the time that they received the puppies. Have a look at the time that these puppies are born. Put the time together. Do it all. Work it out for yourselves, guys. And you will be able to find out when and how many times that bitch has been bred. People like to do back-to-back. There is people in Australia, there's a few breeders in Australia actually that do back-to-back. There's no break. And they do that because they're younger, the dogs, and they will recover. That's not okay. That's not on, by my standards. And I wouldn't recommend anybody buying dogs like that. So if we're talking about a dog that's about 2 years old and she's already on a 3rd litter, then we're starting to have a little bit of a problem. Back-to-back, and then a break, and then another breeding. Possibly yes, but back-to-back, that's an issue. To me, that's an issue, and it should be for anybody who is buying a puppy and who is spending thousands of dollars. How long does it take to get my papers? Make sure that you ask this question. How long does it take to get my papers? Now, it takes roughly about 2 weeks to get the papers, but give and take an extra 2 weeks in case the breeder is busy, and that does happen, in case the registry is busy. So you should have papers within 4 weeks of purchasing your dog. Ask those questions, have it in writing, so then when time comes and 6, 7, or 8 months, or even years have passed and you don't have the papers, you can contact Customer Consumers Law. They have the legal obligation to disclose everything and give you everything. By the ANKC standards, the breeder is not allowed to withhold the papers if that's a part of the deal. Now with the ABKC and any other registry, I'm not 100% sure how that works, but under the Australian Breeders Consumers Law, they have to. And that's something where you have it in writing, where you've got the proof of it all. That's where you can always go back on and you can find out about this. You want to ask what breeding it is for those people in Australia. You want to be able to ask what breeding it is, how far down the foundation line is that dog. Keep in mind that there is a lot of foundation breedings in Australia, and that is not a problem. In case you missed it, that is not a problem. The problem is when you are not told, when you're not fully disclosed what it is, that's your problem. So you want to ask that question. You have to ask these questions. How long down the foundation line? At what stage of the foundation breeding is this dog? What's in my dog? Can I see the pedigrees of the parents? They should have to give you the pedigree of the parents. They are trying to sell you something. They are selling you a product, and they have to make it available to you. So you want to be able to see it all, and that is very, very important. The price of a foundation breeding, whether it's an F1 or an F2 or an F3, it's what the breeder decides it is. So that is their choice. If they want $20,000 for it and you're willing to pay it, it is not wrong. That's what it is. But if you've asked the questions that you want full disclosure and you want to ask exactly what's in it and they lie to you, that is your problem. So that is how this works. You cannot whinge on how much it costs. I got a product, I want 50 grand for this. The other guy's selling the same stuff and he's asking for 5. It is not wrong. This is what I want. I'm being honest with you. This is what my product, and to me, this is worth X amount of money. That's what that product is worth. So that has got nothing to do with anything. If you're willing to pay for it, that's how much that should Daryl, how are you, champ? That's how much that pup should sell for. Do you provide ongoing support? Any real breeder, any proper breeder out there is going to give you full support. They will help you out through stuff. There is people like, and I don't want to be blowing smoke at people's asses and going, oh yeah, it's because you're close to you. No, because I've seen it firsthand and I know that firsthand. People like Suzette do leave their own houses to go to other breeders' houses to help them out with their stuff. So a real breeder, a real person is going to be able to help you, the buyer, at any time. You have a question, they will get to you, whether it's today or tomorrow. Obviously, always keep in mind that people are busy and they do have lives, so if they don't reply to you straight away, it's not the fucking end of the world. We'll get to it. So just please, just be patient and don't take it to heart, but do ask the questions, and a real breeder will give you ongoing support where you need it. They will help you through it. They should be able to direct you towards, give you food advice. They will be able to give you training advice. They will be able to give you all sorts of advice that you guys need, because these people know everything and everybody. So the breeding pattern being scored, yes. Are the dogs raised in a family environment? So this again is another big thing. What's their socialization? To me, Scott and Fuller and many other people out there, and not including just people that obviously who love dogs and research and study, people that have done tests, people that back in the 50s and 60s have done tests and labs and scientific proof. The most crucial part of any dog's developmental period is between 3 weeks and 13 weeks. So this again, where that dog is raised, how the dogs are whelped, what kind of environment that they live in will help determine where the dog goes later on in life. So that is a very, very important thing for you to ask. So please make sure that any questions you ask are in writing. If you do not have it in writing, if you do not have it there, it's not worth anything. You cannot do anything. So you need to make sure that you ask questions. There are breeders out there that have not released papers 1 or 2 years down the track, and by customer consumers law, they cannot do that. They have not fully disclosed what's in the breed that the person has asked. They cannot do that. It's against the law. They have to do it. Now, obviously as well, I don't know, this is probably just going off the top of my head and going by what I would do, but if you had issues with this type of thing and you went down that there is a good chance that you have to return the product for your money back. So you have to keep that in mind. So the dog that you've built a relationship and a bond with, you might have to give that back. So those are the negative sides of all of this stuff. But if you ask up front, you ask for all of these questions, you have it all in writing, they should be able to do that. They want to do phone calls. People that want to do phone calls and they only want to talk over the phone, by my books, by my standards, there is something there that they don't want out in writing. So you get it in writing, so it's there. So nobody can go back and says, no, this is what was said. No, I didn't say this. Bullshit. Here it is. It's in writing. Take your time. Patience. Education. Don't rush into anything. Don't rush in to buy a dog. They will tell you, oh yeah, there's another person who's got money on this dog, or the other person, the breeder, there's another guy looking at this dog. If that is the case, the dog is not available anymore. So don't rush in. Don't impulse buy. If you're buying for a pet-only home, then that's a bit of a different story. It's a pet-only. You're going to love it nonetheless. But if you're buying to start a breeding program, please make sure that you ask all these questions. Please make sure that you do things wisely. Please make sure that you don't rush. Please make sure that you know what's in your dog. You see the previous productions, the health scores, everything from the parents, so you know what you're breeding for. When you're breeding, please do your research. Don't just wait till you've got a bleeder and then you start breeding your dog. Make sure that you've done your research. Make sure that they're compatible. Make sure that the dogs are good. Look for consistency in the previous productions. So if the dog is bred 30 dogs, 5 of them are beasts, the other ones aren't, so we're lacking consistency there. So those are the things that you want to be looking for. Guys, that's it. So I just wanted to make a bit of a video to give you guys a little bit of advice on what you can and what you can't do. As I said, I will be posting this on the Bully Experience page where you will be able to share it. And if you wanted the actual copy that you want to keep it, and you want to put it on your own page as yourself, just ask and I'll send it, I'll email it to you. This is not a problem. Guys, let's try and educate each other. Let's try and make sure that people start doing the right thing. So that's the only way that we can actually do it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take it easy and we'll chat very soon, guys.